Welcome back to Brandon Sports, everybody. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're here for my Raw review for December 1st, 2025. Now, my overall thoughts on this show that this show was terrible. It was a terrible show, and I blame Triple H. Obviously, he's going to get the blame, but this show was so horrible, and the reason why it's so horrible is because after Survivor Series is over, the next day or that night, whichever, Triple H does an interview and says, quote, Raw is going to be so epic. There was nothing epic about tonight. It was another boring show following up off a pay-per-view. And by the way, I gave that pay-per-view a B-. And the only reason why I did is because of not of the story, but just the overall matches. The last match really kind of saved the show. It was a C-, I said, but I gave it a B- because of the last match. Other than that, the only thing that stood out to me in that Survivor Series pay-per-view was Last Legend, the way she stood out in that main event. I gave John Cena and Dominic Mysterio a 7 out of 10 because of the way that they performed. Now that I look back on it, it's just, this show was so awful coming off of that Survivor Series. And when people complain about Raw being bad or a pay-per-view being bad, Triple H will come out and say, this is going to be epic, or this is going to be good, or this is going to be a good show, or whatever the case may be, and it never follows up. There is no more excuses as to why this entire product, this whole entire year, has been this bad. And I did a Friday Night SmackDown review on Friday, on the 28th, and I said I ripped that show apart because it was terrible. This show that we watched today was horrible. Tonight was horrible. It was very, very bad. But I'm here because I love wrestling. I want to talk about it with everybody. We're going to go over the show. But before we go over the show, please hit that thumbs up button. Like and subscribe to the channel for more great content that's coming up. So first we start off with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. They both kick off the show. Looking at my notes here, she introduced us to Monday Night Raw, says that her body is banged up and the fight's not over for the Kabuki Warriors and that they want revenge and they want the Women's Tag Team Championship. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss come out. Alexa says they're happy to put everything behind them. She needs to pump the brakes a little bit. Charlotte Flair says they never got their rematch and if they're better than them, just to prove it. So tonight they challenged them to have a match. They accepted it. So tonight we get Charlotte Flair, Bliss versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Adam Pearce is backstage. He agrees to the match with somebody over the phone. Could be Nick Aldis. After that, in the segment, Paul Heyman is seen in the next shot. He said that he has no idea who was behind the mask at Survivor Series and that Braun Breaker pinned their World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk. So they need to have a talk. They go into his office. Up next, we get Jey Uso making his entrance for the last time is now tournament against LA Knight. My quick thoughts are, at that time, the crowd was a little bit down awful in Glendale, Arizona. It was terrible. The crowd was terrible. They livened up later in the night, but I can understand why it was terrible. This was a terrible show so far. The opening segment I didn't really care about because I don't care about the women's tag team titles because they make it seem like we shouldn't care about it. Now, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss have been doing a good job, but other than that, why is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky going for the tag team championship instead of the women's world championship with Stephanie Valkyrie doesn't have an opponent after Nikki Bella? This makes no sense at all to me, and we'll get to what happens later on at the rest of the night, which just has my mind. I don't even know what to think. But so LA Knight comes out. Overall, it was a great match between Jey Uso and LA Knight. The things that they did, Jey Uso was he was very aggressive in this match. Based on their history, Jey Uso hits a spear on LA Knight in a splash. LA Knight kicks out at 3. He rolls up Jey Uso to get him the pin on a 1, 2, 3. LA Knight beats Jey Uso with a nice roll up at the end. To me, this was just a average regular match between these two. At the end of the match, Jey Uso got mad and started throwing the prime bottle stand and started throwing the steel steps and just got mad and angry and just basically went backstage. I think they're still teasing more of the whole Jey Uso is getting more angry because he's losing and because he's listening to Roman Reigns, so we'll see how that story plays out. Next up, we get a backstage segment with Bayley and Lala Valkyria, however you say her name, with the Kabuki Warriors. Basically, this promo is Asuka basically telling Bayley if she would have joined the Survivor Series team that they would have won. Bayley called both Asuka and Kairi Sane an idiot and bragged about Charlotte Flair being in the main event and her not being in the main event, and also she's a champion and she's not a champion. This was a okay segment backstage. I like how Asuka is really playing into her heel role. She's doing a good job, but other than that, this didn't really do anything for me. I still don't understand what's going on with the Bayley storyline, if she's still going through the mental stuff or trauma, whatever it was, in the promos that they've built up. I don't know. I think they completely abandoned that storyline. I don't know what it is. Adam Pearce asked her if she's okay mentally, and I just don't know where we're going with this. I don't care about Bayley and Lara Valkyria being a tag team. I don't care. They should just have a match, go one-on-one and have a match. That's it. I don't care about the whole mental thing anymore because looks like they're abandoning it. Why should we care? Now they're teaming up. Then she's angry. Weeks ago she's angry. Now they're teaming up. And now we'll get to the end of the show and what happened with all of those tag teams. But this is just wasting time. We're wasting time for a storyline that's been abandoned for no reason. This was besides Asuka, what was the point of this? There was no point in having this backstage segment at all. I guess it was to set up what happens later tonight, but other than that, I just didn't care. I did not care. This Raw was not epic. According to Triple H, it was going to be epic, and it wasn't, and it was horrible. So far, it has not been good. It's an okay match and an okay backstage segment and an okay opening segment, because I didn't care about that, because what about the Women's World title? Next up, we get the Judgment Day making their entrance out to the ring. It's noticeable that Liv Morgan is not out during his entrance. Now, Dominic Mysterio cut a promo, a little bit of Spanish at the beginning. He says that John Cena is the best and greatest of all time. Sarcastically, he's saying this, and that he has just beat the greatest of all time, so that makes him the greatest Mysterio of all time, the greatest luchador of all time, and the greatest of the luchadores, and once again is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, but he couldn't have done it without JD McDonough, Finn Balor, Roxanne, and Raquel Rodriguez. Then he introduces Liv Morgan. She comes out, starts praising Dominic Mysterio. Liv Morgan said that she's hearing the Judgment Day is losing their gold, falling apart, and is weak, but that changes is coming because she's back now with the Judgment Day, and that they officially rule Monday Night Raw. My thoughts about this in-ring segment was, I've seen enough of the Judgment Day. I need to start to see the split now. It's too much. This is just too much. Months and months, almost a year going on when Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley got kicked out, and now they were teasing it, then Liv Morgan gets hurt. We have to start getting this story back on track to where it was, and the turmoil between Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, Finn Balor, and the split. Now it just seems like they're abandoning it, which I get it. Liv Morgan was gone this whole time. But now that it's back, I guess we're going to go through this whole thing again where everybody's chemistry is going along well, and then sooner or later it's going to fall apart. I already see it coming from a mile away. I didn't really care about this in-ring segment because it just doesn't do anything for me. Judgment Day don't do anything for me anymore, besides Liv Morgan being back now, but you've been teasing a riff. Now we're going back to being all buddy-buddy. Then we're going to tease another riff, and then that's going to be it. Just doesn't do anything for me. I don't really care about this. This did not excite me at all. Again, Triple H said this show was going to be epic, and it was not. We get another backstage segment with Adam Pearce asking the referee to poke his nose around because of the masked man that jumped over the cage, was in the cage that obviously curb stomped and kicked in the face CM Punk, and that they couldn't know if it was Seth Rollins or not. The medical staff said he wasn't clear, but everybody backstage or the people that were back there saying that they saw Seth Rollins with a sling on. So he wants the referee to poke around to see what's up in the locker room, but I guess between the boys and everybody in the backstage area. I didn't care for this at all, because why are you sending a referee and not an actual superstar to go see what's up backstage and to poke around? And why are you on camera telling a referee? I know you have to suspend our disbelief, but why are you on camera telling a referee to go poke around? That makes no sense at all. It makes literally no sense to ask a referee to do it. Why? Go ask somebody superstar. Go say, hey, if you go back there, give somebody incentive. If you go back there, well, he gave the referees incentive. He said, I'll look out for you, whatever. I don't care about that. Nobody cares about a referee being looked out for. I care about a superstar saying, well, if you go look around, I'll give you a championship match if you could get me some dirt or some juice. This made no sense. I don't care about a referee going backstage and poking his nose around. I just didn't care about it. Up next, we had AJ Styles and Dragon Lee come out with the Raw Tag Team titles to face the New Day. I just want to say something about the New Day. Triple H, again, ruined the New Day after they turned heel on Big E. They turned heel on him, and ever since then, their run has not been good. They won the Raw Tag Team titles at WrestleMania, but it hasn't been good. After that, it's been boring. They've been complaining for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Now they finally get a tag team title match, which this match was good. They're facing them New Day next. They come out with Grayson Waller. By the way, I still don't know where Austin Theory is, and says that he dumped Grayson Waller to the side, and all of a sudden he's just with the New Day being a lackey. It makes no sense. And this New Day iteration, I don't care about. No disrespect to Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. They're really good at what they do, but I don't care about it. I don't care about them being a heel when you've already ruined it. There's no story. There's lackluster just being a heel. The only thing that they're doing is keeping the Raw Tag Team titles relevant, which I'm about to get into about AJ Styles. Now, overall, the match was okay. AJ's Dragon Lee did a double stomp off the rope, and it slingshotted Kofi Kingston into a Styles clash, which was a very, very great move, by the way. AJ Styles gets the pin on Kofi Kingston in 1, 2, 3. They retain the Raw Tag Team titles. It was a good match. Like I said, I don't really care for this because the New Day to me are boring being heels. And AJ Styles is about to retire. Dragon Lee is with AJ Styles. AJ Styles is about to retire next year, and we have him in tag team winning the Raw Tag Team titles instead of having him challenge for one more World title shot. One more World Championship match for his career or to be World Heavyweight Champion again before they give it to Braun Breaker or something. I don't know. And this is what we get with AJ Styles. They have to revitalize this tag team division. And then next week, which I'm actually going to skip ahead a little bit, they were backstage after they won their match. I'm going to skip to this. They were backstage after they won the match. After the match, they go to Adam Pearce again, who's backstage. It says, we want to defend our championships again. And then who do we want to defend it again? The War Raiders, who haven't been there for weeks. We haven't seen them on TV. What is the point to all of this? It makes no sense. I don't care. No disrespect to Dragon Lee. I don't know him. I don't care. I don't care about the World Tag Team titles on AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. And the reason why I don't care is because I want AJ Styles doing something else. He should have won the Intercontinental title with Dominic Mysterio, but he's doing a good job with the IC title, especially having a match against John Cena. But overall, I don't care. I don't care about AJ Styles being the World Tag Team champ. I care about AJ Styles being in a world title picture. I know he's older. I know he's an older guy. He's an older veteran. But I want to see what he can do. I want to see him at least with one more world title run. What's wrong with that? He's not doing anything. I don't care about the World Tag Team division with him. He's a singles wrestler, not a tag team wrestler, because they don't have anything with Dragon Lee. Put him back with Rey Mysterio and let them win the titles. Let AJ Styles go do something else. I don't care about the New Day. They need to go back to being a babyface because what they're doing as heels just doesn't hit. I don't care about it at all. I just do not care about it at all. So now I gotta go back. We get a backstage segment with Jackie Redmond interviewing Stephanie Valkyrie. Stephanie Valkyrie says she's ready for her next challenger. Liv Morgan comes to the frame and she just wants to let her know that she's back. So they're obviously teasing Liv Morgan and Stephanie Valkyrie probably for the Royal Rumble in January, because we all know they're probably not going to do it on the month of December because John Cena's retirement at Saturday night's main event. They're probably not going to do it for the whole month, so we're probably going to have to wait until the Royal Rumble to get this match between these two. And Liv Morgan, in the meantime, can be on Raw and just wrestle and rack up some victories to be the next number one contender. This is what they're probably going to do. Liv Morgan will probably wrestle next week or the week after and become the number one contender for the Women's World Championship. And then after that, they'll go to the Royal Rumble and then she'll lose and everything for the Judgment Day will start to break apart. You could literally see this coming. Up next, we had Paul Heyman, Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker coming out to make their entrance. We come back from commercial break. Paul Heyman cut a promo shouting out Brock Lesnar. He also shouted out Drew McIntyre. Then he shouted out everybody in the ring, basically saying that Brock Lesnar is great. You know, I can't verbatim say what he said. It was a lot. The whole promo was a lot. But he praised Logan Paul for being the future vision of the WWE, basically his vision in the WWE. He's the Maverick. He's the outside star. He praised Bronson Reed. Like I said, he praised Brock Lesnar. He praised Drew McIntyre. Then he praised Braun Breaker. He said also told Drew McIntyre, nice doing business with you. Braun Breaker then cuts an amazing promo. This was the best thing. I'll give Triple H's credit for this particular promo, even though Braun Breaker gets all the credit, but I'm just giving Triple H a little bit of credit for booking the segment. Braun Breaker's promo was excellent. I don't have all of it because there was a lot, but it was a great promo to say that he's ready. Braun Breaker is ready to me to be the next world champion in the WWE. Now, Paul Heyman did announce that Braun Breaker will face CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship on the 1-year anniversary of Raw on Netflix. So this is going to be January 5th, Raw on Netflix, Braun Breaker versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, Braun Breaker in this promo that he cut said that CM Punk was a punk. You know what, I'm not going to say it. He's no different than any other veteran who's lived off his past glory. A narcissistic piece of garbage. He said that he was trying to break my neck and everything that he worked hard for, because if you guys did watch Survivor Series, him and Cody Rhodes did the Warriors move when he jumps over the top rope and clotheslines him. Cody Rhodes is carrying Braun Breaker. CM Punk basically jumped over the top rope and clotheslined Braun Breaker, and he hit his neck really bad. So this is what he's referring to in the promo. And he basically said that he ruined his life for everything that he worked hard for. Now, in this promo, Braun Breaker has so much energy. He was so angry in this promo. You could really feel it through the TV screen of how angry he was. This was actually phenomenal and great. If you haven't seen it, you should go back and see it. This was phenomenal by Braun Breaker. I think he's ready now. And he did cut in a promo and said that CM Punk at WrestleMania said, hey, backstage, he said, hey, kid, be nice to see you cut a promo. And he said, now, this is the promo that I'm cutting, la-di-da, and basically just went in on CM Punk and said he'll see him basically for Raw on Netflix, which I basically got from it. And he walked out of the ring and he was so animated and juiced up. And then Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul just sitting there clapping their hands, saying, "Oh, this is good." You know, basically admiring what Braun Breaker did in his promo. But this was fantastic. It was a great promo. He really set the tone for this match that we're going to get in a month. But really, this match is literally going to happen January 5th, which is basically more than a month from now, which is kind of crazy, but I get it. They also said that CM Punk is not cleared after War Games, so I guess they're giving him some time to recover in storyline or not storyline. But overall, this was a great segment in the ring, especially with this promo by Braun Breaker. It was great. Next up, we had Jey Uso just walking backstage, casually walking backstage. He was mad. Jackie Redmond was trying to get an interview with him, but he just kept walking and walking, and he didn't want to talk to her. And then she said, "Well, Braun Breaker's the #1 contender." And Jey Uso says, "Well, I don't care about the world. I don't care about the vision. I don't care about Braun Breaker." And maybe that Roman Reigns was right, that the championship looks better on Roman Reigns than it looked on Jey Uso. Again, further teasing basically an attitude change within Jey Uso. Did I really care for the segment? Not really, because we've again been teasing this for weeks and weeks and weeks and have not got anything from it. They didn't, the War Games, everything is fine and everything is, whoop-de-doo. And then now he's angry again. Too inconsistent for me. Just too inconsistent. Do I care right now? We'll see, but actually, no, I don't care right now, but we'll see in the future what this would look like. Again, I stress to you guys enough. Jimmy Uso should be getting a push. Jey Uso had his time to have a push. He won the Intercontinental title, he won the World title, he won tag team titles with Cody Rhodes for crying out loud. Let the brother who's more charismatic, no disrespect to Jey Uso, but Jimmy Uso's more charismatic than his brother. Again, he had a fine match with LA Knight, but I don't care. I just didn't care about it, and I don't care about this backstage segment because, they're going to tease it again, continuously keep teasing this, and it's like, when are we going to get to the final point, the ending point of it? Again, Triple H said this show was going to be epic, and it has not been so far. It's not. Up next, we had Gunther make his entrance to face Solo Sikoa. I want to say this. Solo Sikoa, this was another good thing that happened tonight. Solo Sikoa, he would get chants sometimes when people saying you can't wrestle and stuff like that. Solo Sikoa can go in the ring, and this match was great. It was a hard-hitting match. It was a great match in my opinion. Him and Gunther did a real good job. Gunther and Solo did a good job. This was for the semifinals of the Last Time Is Now tournament. The winner would obviously go on to face LA Knight, which was Gunther. Gunther ended up winning this match. It was a great match. Very physical. Solo tried to cheat, but Gunther came out on top, hit him with a low blow in the ring, powerbombed him, and pinned him 1-2-3. But I just want to commend Solo Sikoa for doing a great job. He did a phenomenal job. It was great to see him wrestle this long and actually can show that he actually can wrestle, because people make fun of him and say that he can't. But this was a great showing for Solo Sikoa. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. It was a hard-hitting match. Obviously, we all know Gunther was going to win because he's going to be the one to retire John Cena just like he retired Goldberg. I wouldn't be surprised if when AJ Styles retires that Gunther probably will retire him too, and he'll be the guy to say that he retires everybody. But this was an excellent match. If you haven't seen the highlights, you should definitely go check it out. A great, fantastic match between Gunther and Solo Sikoa, and they're two heels, so it's like you don't know who to root for. But even the crowd, this is when the crowd really started to liven up, and they started cheering, "Let's go Solo," or "Let's go Gunther." So it was a really good back and forth in this match. It was great, fantastic work by Solo Sikoa. Gunther's always been fantastic, but I have to give Solo Sikoa his credit. Absolutely fantastic. Now, we get another backstage segment from Adam Pearce, who the referee that he talked to early in the day, which I said before, the referee comes back and says, "I don't have anything." What was the point of having this segment here? What was the point of having this segment if he didn't find anything? Again, I saying a waste of time. He should have went to a superstar and said, if you find some information to entice to get something, not a referee. And even the referee comes back with nothing. What has it done now? What was the purpose of doing that? There was no purpose. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way I do. I get tired of seeing Adam Pearce just standing backstage, not coming out to the ring, not saying anything, not getting more answers. He always yells at somebody and says, "Oh, I gotta have a drink." I don't care about you having a drink. I care about you actually being a good general manager on the show. I know you have to suspend your disbelief, but goodness, they have to start making Adam Pearce look better. Him being backstage and just yelling at everybody, I'm tired of it. Enough. Enough of him doing this. And him and this referee having this backstage exchange didn't do anything for me. It was horrible. It was terrible. And I didn't care not one bit about it. And the referee says all he did was see Seth Rollins, which I said earlier, which is ridiculous. This was just a nonsensical segment, and it was ridiculous. And this is when I said, I cut earlier, I said I'm going to jump ahead and say AJ Styles, they want to defend their titles against the War Raiders, which makes no sense at all because they haven't been on TV in months. If anything, if anybody there's a tag team title shot, it's probably the New Day again. I don't know, but the War Raiders don't deserve it. They haven't been around. Like I said, Triple H, again, I'm going to repeat what he said. Tonight was going to be epic, and it has not been epic. It has been horrible. I know I said that Gunther and Solo Sikoa had a great match. It was great. The show was still terrible. And Braun Breaker's promo was great too, but the show was still bad. So then we get a backstage promo with Rey Mysterio. He's backstage talking with Jackie Redmond, and she asks him about going after the Intercontinental Championship. After she asked him that question, he said, of course, obviously. Then Logan Paul comes into the frame. Logan Paul interrupts Rey Mysterio's interview with Jackie Redmond. Logan Paul says the Intercontinental Championship belongs to the Vision and that he needs to step down. And he also makes fun of the fact that calling Rey Mysterio basically that he's 3'6", 3 feet tall, 6 inches basically, and that Logan Paul is 6'3". So he's making fun of him about his height. And Logan Paul also said that he's going to retire him, just basically picking at Rey Mysterio. Says he needs to step out of the way. Rey Mysterio says, who's going to stop me, Bendejo? Then Logan Paul gets in his face. They're face to face. And then Rey Mysterio just slapped Logan Paul so hard. And the backstage crew basically came and grabbed Logan Paul and separated him and Rey Mysterio. And it was also announced that Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor next week, which again, I don't care about it. I want Rey Mysterio to go do something else. I don't care about, oh, well, you're just a deadbeat dad, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. I don't care about Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio anymore. Unless it's a retirement match between father and son, then that's it. I don't want to see Rey Mysterio on TV with Dominic anymore. It's over. It's played out and it's too much. Enough. I've seen enough of Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio on TV together. I don't care about it anymore. It's old. They faced at WrestleMania twice already. I don't care about Dominic and Rey Mysterio. I care about Dominic Mysterio on his own with the Judgment Day. And I care about Rey Mysterio being obviously he's a Hall of Famer. Let him go do something else. This makes no sense. Put him back with Dragon Lee and give them the Raw Tag Team titles like I said earlier. This makes no sense and I'm tired of seeing them together. So now it's main event time with Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Rhea Ripley. And Io Sky's in this match. It was a good match. Actually a great match. The crowd was getting into it. Then, towards the end of the match, Asuka and Kairi Sane come out to interfere at the last minute of the match. Then Bayley and Lyra Valkyria come out to make the save. Obviously, you're going to have to make the save. Babyfaces at this particular point. Babyface team has to make the save. Then after that, the Judgment Day comes out. Liv Morgan slams Lyra Valkyria on the table. She pulls her leg, slams her on the table. Raquel Rodriguez comes into the ring, beats up Asuka. Then Roxanne Perez, they take the championships. They're holding them up. Roxanne Perez tries to give the championship to Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan gives it back to us. Liv Morgan lifts both of her arms up, goes into the camera and says, we're back, she's back, or whatever the case may be. They basically stand tall at the end of the night. Again, I cannot stress to everybody enough who's watching this review how terrible this show was. I didn't care about the Judgment Day standing tall at the end of the show. For what? You're making the women's tag team titles a priority on a show when the women's world champion continuously gets a backstage segment. What did Stephanie Valkyria do to anybody backstage to continuously get this treatment? This makes no sense. She's barely on TV, and when she's on TV, she's either wrestling sometimes or in a backstage segment. Somebody interrupts it, and then that's it. Where's Nikki Bella? Forgive me for leaving this out. There was a backstage vignette that I thought was also nice with Natalya and Maxine Dupree. It was great. It was a great backstage vignette. I'm just so angry about the show that slipped my mind. But it was a great backstage. It was basically Maxine Dupree training with Natalya, and it looked great. Everything the vintage was, that entire thing was phenomenal. Natalya has always been underrated, and I feel like that has to do with Vince McMahon and the way he was booking her for all these years. She's one of the greatest of all time, and she doesn't get her credit. But back to what I was saying before. I don't care about the women's tag team titles being the main event of the show. The women's world title needs to be featured more. What's the point of having Stephanie Valkyria be the women's world champion? CM Punk wasn't on the show, and this is my problem when you have world champions that are not here. You have a world heavyweight champion, a world champion on your show that is not here. I do not want to go back to days of Brock Lesnar being your world champion or Roman Reigns being your world champion and your world champion's not there. I know CM Punk's not cleared, so you can get away with it for 1 week. He needs to be there next week. Even if he's not cleared, be there, say something. AJ Lee wasn't on the show. Where's Brock Lesnar? Where's Roman Reigns? They just come in the Survivor Series and they just leave. This makes no sense. This show was horrible. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. Triple H said that this show was going to be epic. This show was not epic. It was horrible. It was booked horribly. Everything was horrible. 3 good things that I like: Gunther versus Solo Sikoa, the backstage vignette with Natalya and Maxine Dupree, and Braun Breaker's promo. Other than that, I didn't care. I did not care about this show at all. Those are 3 things out of a 2.5-hour show. It was a 2-hour-and-a-half show, and we've progressed with nothing. We had a bunch of women fighting over tag team titles, and the Judgment Day standing tall. This show was just awful, and I'm tired of Triple H making promises that he can't keep. Every time, again, I'm going to repeat myself again, every time there is a show that is being negatively criticized by fans, Triple H will either overhype the next pay-per-view, or he'll, I know it's premium live event, but I'm saying pay-per-view because I just like saying pay-per-view. He will overhype the pay-per-view, or if the pay-per-view doesn't go to accordance, the following Monday, he would say, this is going to be epic. This is going to be great. It's going to be a great show. And he continuously says it over and over and over again. And then it's not epic. And then he says, well, it doesn't matter what the fans say online. Yes, it does. People pay their cable bill. People pay their Netflix bill. People pay to watch this stuff. And then you keep telling us it's going to be great. You keep doing interviews that say it's going to be great. It's going to be great. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. And it's going to be so great. And it turns out to be absolute garbage. He gets no more passes from me. I try to give him a pass for Survivor Series. But then when you see the outrage online, I tried to give it a good review based on the last match of the show. It was a C-, then I gave it a B- because of what happened. But other than that, I had no expectations. I was excited for the actual show, but I had no expectations because I told you guys a lot of this stuff was lacking story in my Survivor Series preview and predictions. This show, Monday Night Raw, just like Friday Night SmackDown, is horrible, and a lot of people in the IWC and the internet wrestling community is right. This has been a bad year creatively for WWE, and it's horrible, and Triple H is at the helm of that. It was a terrible show tonight. A very, very horrible show. I don't know how else to say it. I know I keep repeating myself. It was a bad show, and Triple H said it was going to be epic again, and it was not. A horrible, horrible show. Alright, everybody, that's my Monday Night Raw review. I'm literally tired of this. I can't keep going on much longer. This was just a terrible show. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you like this review, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to the channel. I'll be back with more content. Until next time, guys. See you soon.